Hey there, and welcome back to Warhammer Hourly, even better than Warhammer Daily.
Yeah, sorry about the technical difficulties. I don't know what happened there. So, to pick up where we left off, Malorian was giving me crap for doing so poorly last year at Brawler Bash. Yeah, so I'd like to point out that Game 1 of Brawler Bash last year, I was playing Jason Sprague, and it went against me, but it was one of those games that could have gone either way. And Jason went on and did very well at the tournament. He actually won our region's Overlord, so it did okay.
Tough start, yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, yeah, so do I think this year's going to be different? Well, one thing I don't know why it took me so long to realize it, but I realized about a month ago that double hordes just doesn't work.
Gotta go quadruple.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean... with Empire, I mean, I was having a horde of either two hordes of halberdiers, or a horde of halberdiers, or a horde of great swords, and there's just too often that you couldn't get the matchups you needed. You didn't have the mobility. You either couldn't kill stuff, or you could, but you'd be striking last, and it's giving them up. I've had a lot better success with the list. So I don't know. We'll see. I hate to predict it because the dice can do anything.
But that's what the viewers want to know.
Right.
So how about this? We'll start with, there's just two ways to look at this. Either the number of games you'll win out of 5, or where you're going to place with the points for the overall. So out of 5 games, how many do you think you're going to win?
Okay, well, we've got to tweak that a little bit, because I don't care if I win. I want to kill a bunch of stuff.
But it's one measure of how you think you're going to do.
Yeah, but if I win and I only kill 1,500 points worth of stuff, that's a loss. So how about this? A win is you get at least 2,500 points.
Sure.
All right? Because even if I technically lose the game, but I get 2,500 points. I think I should be able to do that in 4 games, at least 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to say 5. In my practice games, even the ones I lose, they're bloody. I mean, they're just everybody's dead. I don't think with a list close to what I'm using now, I've lost and just wasn't able to get any points. I mean, it can happen. You kill 500 points and then everything goes south and you're just screwed for the whole tournament. So my goal is to be real competitive in every game. That way, it doesn't matter if I win or lose. I'm really not thinking win or lose. I'm thinking about I need to kill a bunch of stuff. I need to get the scenario objective points, and I would like to think that I could be successful in 4 games out of 5. And if I do that. I would like, I should, if I can do that, I should be top 10%.
That's a pretty solid showing.
And that's top 10 out of 100.
Yeah.
We'll see. I think it's tough to do that. I mean, if I can do it, yay for me. I think it's tough for anybody to get that many points and very consistently. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm confident with it, if that means anything. I just feel like by saying that, I feel like I'm jinxing myself.
That's fine. That's fine. If you keep those bottom tables filled up, that means I'm kind of forced further up. So.
Right. Yeah. That's what I was doing last year. So I hear through the grapevine, and I heard from Malorian that Wargamer Weekly, they don't have the hourly thing like we do. That they predicted out of the YouTubers that I was going to do the best. Is that what?
Well, they each did their own predictions, but Whoopi Womp in particular thought you were going to go 5-5.
5-0?
Or sorry, yeah, 5-1.
Okay.
We're going to do a double tournament.
Okay. What about the others? Who was it? Tyler and Nick?
It was Nick couldn't make it for that part. It was also Tyler and Lord Tremendous was there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And they had some mixed things in there. I wasn't in any of the top 3s, so I guess I'm coming in as a dark horse. But that's all right. That's all right.
Well, I mean, I know we talk about we have conversations that we've had today, and that obviously you were not there for. Mm-hmm. So what YouTubers were in contention?
They were talking about us. There was Anthony. There was Nick. There was Chris. There was Lord Tremendous. Chris also from Long Island Wargaming. He's also going with the Orcs and Goblins. Okay. Lord Tremendous was hoping he was going to go 5-0.
Lord Tremendous is going to be here.
I'm not sure if he is.
I didn't know that, so that would be pretty cool.
Actually, I put them in the list, but I'm not. I know he won't be here. I'm sorry.
Okay.
The Warrior Vault, something with like Tuna sandwich.
Tuna sandwich. He used to comment all the time, man. He rarely comments anymore. On mine.
Yeah.
Probably on yours, I guess.
And then that other Dark Elf player that I screwed up the name for. So, of course, I'm going to screw it up on air here again.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
But yeah, so
they didn't have Anthony.
Well, they kind of thought that it was a dark horse because a lot of people wouldn't know what to expect from Bretonnians anymore. That he'd be able to kind of get in there and get big points. And I mean, my point of view on that one is the Bretonnians might not be able to win games, but because of how fast your lances are and how you can focus it, you should be able to pick out the fights you can win, get those 2,500 points plus, and then if you lose, you can get solid points for every game.
So the trick is, can you just kill enough points and get some scenario objectives?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's there. For my part, I think I know I'm gonna have one game that's gonna mess me up, but I think if we go with that criteria for getting at least 2,500 points, I'm hoping to get 4 like that, but I wouldn't think I'm gonna end up in the top 10%. I'd be hoping to get in the top 20%. I think I'm hoping to be somewhere there. So.
Yeah, I think your list is going to win.
General, BSB, 3 Night Goblin units, so 6. Yeah.
6.
So that's. Oh, I also got the Savages, so 7.
Okay.
One day trolls will learn how to hold flags. It's too hard still.
Yeah. When we talk about like needing fortitude and deployment in the opponent's deployment zone,
yeah,
you can do it though. You can just march Night Goblins down the side. Why are people going to mess with them? They've got enough of the things to deal with.
Well, I mean, for my part, I should always be able to hold my own because I have all those Night Goblin units, and then I always have the Savage Orc Biggins that are pushing up. The General could always run up if I needed to. So yeah. I have ones there. The problem is that everyone's going to be trying to kill my General. So
well, you get Lord Shadow gets Steep of Shadows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you should do that. If you get that lore, that's a spell to get.
It's all going to be about Mind Razor.
Yeah.
So one of the things we could also just sneak in here too, just because we were touching on this with the last one and then we kind of veered away, is we actually already played our game. We went straight to the store. We played our game, my tournament list versus his tournament list. We went for the battle line. We rolled randomly to see what cards we used, what mission. But one of the things we thought would be interesting to put out here is that we both took pictures. We'll both be doing battle reports. But what do you guys think is going to happen? We already had one hint last time that you rolled a few failed 1+ saves, a couple or more. Do you have any tips you want to give them?
On the game?
Yeah. Help them out.
I don't know. I need to think about that because we don't want to give it away. It was a topsy-turvy game. So
yeah.
If you're thinking it started off one way and it started off well for me and then turned south and started off badly for me and then went well.
Watch the whole video. Things change.
Yeah, watch the whole video. It was a funny, wonky, weird game.
So down below, put down your vote for who you think would win, and then you'll be able to see the 2 battle reports at some point.
Yeah, and vote for which battle report's going to be better.
We know which way that's going to go. I'm going to have to hire a bunch of babes to come in and dance while I'm doing my battle report.
You got the orc model, right?
That's right. That's right. Did you feel seduced? Did it work?
No.
Not even a little bit?
That was good.
Dang it.
That was good. So Shimmergloom was watching the game, and he had a big river troll stand. We had a watchtower on the table, and this dude's standing on the watchtower with a Gary UC thing, and just cursing my dice. Oh my gosh, it was ridiculous.
Yeah,
it was kind of funny. So yeah, vote below for that. And while you're voting, I mean, vote for how you think each of us is going to do in the tournament. Win-loss, but by win-loss we mean 2,500 points or more counts as a win.
Mm-hmm.
Or where we're going to place at the end or something like that.
So I've got a question for overall. What army do you think has the best shot at winning the best overall at an event like this?
Elf. I think Dark Elf, High Elf is... I mean, Dark Elves and High Elves, you can build pretty similar lists with both of them.
Because last year we said the Warriors of Chaos, which was correct. So what do you see that they're going to bring to the table that's going to be beating the Warriors?
Well, 3 or 4 bolt throwers doesn't hurt. Highly mobile, so freaking killy that that it doesn't matter, and everybody. I think the things that people expect in the current meta are you need a way to deal with monsters, and you need or the demon prince or whatever, and you need a way to deal with armor saves. And so nobody's going to show up without a plan about how to deal with those things. And I just think right now High Elves and Dark Elves have a lot of really good tools at their disposal. And in an uncomped event with special characters, you can get really abusive with both of those armies. Because Matt Ward wrote the rules.
Yeah, I think I'd more lean towards with the Dark Elves because especially if somebody doesn't realize the power that those Witch Elves can put out, or the Executioners, they can start wiping the Lions away and they can score some massive points. And then as well, they also have the Riders and the Warlocks, which can hunt down those straggling things. So whereas normally Warriors can come in and crush out the heart of your army, they have a hard time tracking down the rest of it. The Dark Elves can do both.
Yeah.
So my vote would be on them. But.
Yeah, I fear Dark Elf army. There's no doubt about it. I think.
And we even said as well that both of us, the army that we were worried about was Dark Elves.
Yeah, and there was a dude tonight at the store playing, and he was just playing a friendly game, but you could see he had his models out. His list is exactly what I feared: a huge horde of Witch Elves with Hellebron, and a huge horde of Executioners. And I didn't even see what else because it doesn't matter. 3 or 4 bolt throwers, and I was done right there. I'm like, I don't know, I don't know how you deal with that. Anything that, if you think you might have a chance of putting some armor saves against the Witch Elves, which is tough because they do 8 million wounds. But he has Hellebron, so Hellebron just kills you.
Well, I mean, you have the shooting that you could take out the. Now I can't remember what that thing is called in the middle.
The Cauldron?
The Cauldron, yeah, of course. So you could knock out the Cauldron before combat actually starts.
Maybe.
So that takes out a little bit of that stuff there.
Well, it has a 4 board, that's tough, and then it's got like 5 wounds, I think.
Yeah.
And that's tough because let's say you get past the ward and you wound it, you do 2 wounds or 3 wounds. You've got to hit it pretty consistently.
What if you can get 2 rounds of shooting before they hit combat? You can knock that out. The problem is killing Hellbrun, right? Because you don't want your Call of Friends fighting Hellbrun whatsoever.
No. That's one of the few characters that she can handle him just fine.
Yeah. I'd almost lead in with your Halberdiers first, knowing that they'll get slaughtered, but they can kill Hellbrun. Because even though they're hitting on 5s, they're hitting on 5s re-roll because of hatred, wounding on 3s, she has no armor, you could sneak it in there.
Nope. No, I charge the Halberdiers in, they're dead before they fight.
You think?
Yeah.
Especially if you shoot down the Cauldron first?
Well, what's the Cauldron give them? The extra Frenzy and a ward save?
It's actually Frenzy, the ward save, and the re-rolls to wound.
Yeah, okay. All right.
So it's fairly important.
So Witch Elves come with 1 attack, extra hand weapon 2, and a Frenzy to start off with. So a Horde is going to get 50 attacks, hitting on 3s, re-rolling to wound. So they're going to get 45 or more hits, and then they should wound half, so they should wound about 20. Rerolling 1, so let's put them at 25. So if I'm in a horde formation, that means I have 2, maybe 4 attacks going on Hellebron.
I guess, yeah.
I'm gonna go.
So then what's the game plan? Just redirect and go for everything else? Go for the flame cage?
So one game plan is you certainly use the flame cage. If that's my plan, I'm not going to roll that spell. Right? So one tricky thing, get this. So you so you get the flame cage on them, and then you put things up there to redirect it. So it's like if you want to redirect, and then you don't shoot at it necessarily. You make sure you shoot the people that are going to be messing with your redirectors because you need your redirectors. So with the flame cage up, they've just got to sit there unless they want to lose 2/3 of the unit. But I also like the idea of after that goes up, doing the Hurricanum spell on them, because now if it lands, it's a horde, so even if it scatters, it's probably going to hit. If we roll 1 or 2, it doesn't do a whole lot. Well, I think if it rolls a 2, it still does a strength 2 hit. That still kills a handful. But if you roll a 3, you know what happens?
Is that the spin one?
It spins. And if they move for any reason, they lose 2/3 of the unit. So you spin them around, and they're facing the wrong direction, and 2/3 of the unit's gone. And then if they want to reform, they're going to lose 2/3 of the next of what's left. But that means I have to roll a 3. You know, there's a lot of things going there.
So we were talking in the first video about the different lores, with seeing some of the problems being, say, like the flying around Dark Elf characters or Hellbrun. Do you kind of regret not taking Death to be able to snipe those guys out?
Nope.
No. I mean, if I could take Death on my character, I would do so.
Yeah. You know, the problem is I've just never learned how to play Death well. And Death would be great with Carl Franz because he's, you know, you got leadership 10 on your side, right? So whenever you're comparing leaderships, you know, that spell or whatever, Death is a fantastic lore that I just haven't learned how to use well.
6 dice.
I'm not above 6 dice and stuff. I 6 dice stuff all the time. What I like about Fire, though, is that I don't really need to roll 6 dice very much, because I only need 3 dice to get most spells off. Usually there's a variety of spells that you might know the one spell that you really don't want, but if I say that to the end, you might have to let 2 or 3 spells through that you don't, you know, you're stopping the real big one, but I'm still getting other ones. And if I get one spell off, then I add D3, and so you might end up giving them all away. I mean, you know, so I don't know. I think Fire synergizes well with my list, but it's certainly a weaker lore. I mean, I've never played before where the magic phase I just don't cast anything because nothing's gonna matter.
Well, I guess in a way you can't do any worse than you did last year. So
you know what? I could. There's always lower.
Yeah, my big problem is if I faced the same type of thing, the Hellbrun type list, I just don't have the tools in my list. I almost have to just hit it in waves. Troll Horde 1, go. Try and kill as much as you can.
I think you do fantastic.
Troll Horde 2.
Yeah, because you have regen. And regen can mess. And you've got...
They have a flaming banner in there.
But they don't. Who would? I mean...
Yeah, that's true.
I think I would be really surprised if anybody had flaming banner in that. They might have it in a auxiliary unit, right? But not on that one. The problem is that they have it in any unit that gets into combat, that's going to go first before you go and all that. But
yeah,
no, because first off, with the Witch Elves, they're wounding on 5s. Yeah, and you're saving on 4s, and so they could, you know, and you get all your your stomps.
Yeah. But I'm pretty sure I'd lose at least the first. That's why I think I'd have to hit them with 2 hordes just to beat out that one unit.
Yeah. But I think yeah. So you sacrifice 1, you just crunch it.
Or with my 3 bunkers, I'd have to put 2 of them up ahead and hope that one of them will be alive to redirect, so I can get a flank horde on the flank. But they have a lot of anti-chaff, like you were saying, so a little bit iffy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just a tough list. I think that's the list I feared.
So if you guys are going to Brawlers and you like us, beat all the Dark Elf players, so we don't need to. We'll be all aces. We can face each other in the top tables.
Yeah, with my luck, I'll get a mediocre game 1, and so will the Dark Elf player playing Hellbrun.
You might face Dark Elves every single game. Oh no, you're guaranteed not to because you got the Wars first time. So
yeah.
You're 1 reprieve and then Dark Elves all the way through.
Yeah. I can use some advice about the dwarves. I just don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I'll be okay. We'll figure something out.
Oh yeah. So tomorrow you're going to be doing some practicing. One of the things that people were commenting on my videos that I find is a real difference between the way that I play and get ready for a tournament and the way that you play and get ready for a tournament is that a lot of times when a tournament's coming up, I won't even practice the list. I'll make up the list, and I usually feel that I've played enough orcs and goblins that it's going to work out fine, and I just use it at the tournament. Whereas for yourself, you're usually doing a lot of practice games to perfect the tournament list and to get practice with it. You know, what are your kind of thoughts on that?
I think you're smarter than me, and you don't need to. I'm like that a lot. Every time I start a new army, you know, all I do is lose, and then I start figuring it out. And because for some reason, what everybody else gets to work on the internet doesn't work for me. Like Lore of Death, it's the same thing. Like everybody's Lore of Death, it wins games, and for me, I'm like, nah, it doesn't do anything. And I just find that for whatever reason, the way I think about the game, different builds just work for me. Little things, like I never would have thought of taking a unit of 10 archers with a banner. What a stupid, worthless unit that is. That unit has done wonders for me in getting scenario objectives and being a possible redirector. and being a threat for wizards out on their own. I mean, just stupid little things.
When you get points for taking table quarters and stuff like that, I mean, those little units can do the world for you, right?
Yeah. I still don't know why I took handgunners. These things are freaking worthless. I didn't give a banner. If I give a banner, that would make sense. Like they could do no, not even that.
I mean, one of the things I might have started my path where I wasn't doing my tournament list for practices is that I didn't want it to be shown to the internet. I didn't want them seeing my tournament list. I wanted to hide it. But now I just share the list anyway, so it's kind of a waste. Do you feel that sometimes you practicing your list gives away those secrets?
I've complained about that before. Yes, yeah. Absolutely. The one difference is you can go on there and tell people what your list is. I'm not sure how much good that does. You know, they have to sit there and imagine, well, how is he going to play it and what's going to work here. With my games, you get to see every scenario that might happen. I'm like, oh, when this happens, this is how I beat it. And if you're playing this, you're like, okay, we'll have to make sure that doesn't happen in our game. Yeah. It seems like I'm about a 50% rate now. When I go to a tournament, the people I play say, oh, I saw all your practice games. I know what you have. I know your strategy. Let's go. And I'm like, great.
Yeah.
And I've thought about practicing and then maybe put the battle reports after the tournament, but I can't do that. And that's I would go months without a battle report, you know.
Yeah, because that's what you're practicing, right? So it's either show those battle reports or just have nothing.
Yeah. So. and I can't work it out on paper. I'm not a good list builder. I can't sit down on paper and figure out, oh, this will work great for me. I mean, I can get some rough sketches of it, but usually it's plain stuff that, you know, I get my ideas.
So some of the other YouTubers that are coming, like we were saying, was Nick and Chris and Anthony and them. Those three in particular. So you have Nick with his Skaven, you have Chris with his Orcs and Goblins, that's kind of like what my list used to be like, and then you have Anthony with his Bretonnians. Which is the one that you would fear most to face?
Skaven.
Yeah?
I fear Skaven just because
If wonky and tricky.
If the dice go their way, man, they can beat anything. It's just, and I'm not discrediting Nick. I'm not saying that generalship doesn't enter into it. I'm just saying I don't fear Bretonnia, not because it's a bad book and nothing against Anthony. I just know it inside and out, and so if it beats me, it's certainly not because I was surprised by anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't fear Orcs and Goblins very much. They can make a tough list, but animosity. Animosity will screw them sometime. Anyway, so that'd be my answer.
Yeah, interesting. The one that I fear probably the most is actually Anthony's, because kind of the same logic where I know Skaven a lot because I had to face my brother with the Skaven all the time before. I know Orcs and Goblins well, but for Bretonnians, it always seems you never really know what those characters have and what they're set up with, and
it's an open list.
I never look. I'm lazy. I'm so lazy. But I mean, like he has the flying characters, like the Lord on the Griffin, which other armies like yours would just shoot him down. That's no problem. I don't have that shooting, so he can really focus in on one troll horde and be able to break through, reform, go to the next troll horde. So
I agree. I think your list is going to struggle against anything that can fly. Just fly over your head.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean.
If I go up against like the high elves with all the flying dragons and phoenixes,
you're screwed.
Oh god.
Yeah, you're just screwed, man. I mean, if I were, well, I'm not going to tell you what I would do because they're probably watching. Right? So, yeah. I think Anthony was. See, we're doing this again. We talked about last year how like by the end of the videos I'm like all the way down, guys, slouch. Yeah, I think. Bretonnia, when I play Bretonnia a lot, I do really appreciate their mobility. And when they need to gang up, like, because you know in a combat, your trolls are going to do a certain number of attacks, just a ton of wounds, but if you throw more units in them, they're not getting more attacks necessarily.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not true. If Bretonnia throws a lance in there, the nice thing about that is you're 3 wide. That's it. You're only going to get 3 models wide that get to attack. Right?
Yeah.
And they're going to get a 5 up board save, and that could go either way. So they have a charge, they have the ranks and banner and all that kind of stuff, and all they have to do is win by a couple.
Yeah.
And you never know. I mean, if you have the leadership and the reroll and all that, but
Especially, I know my Savage Orcs, they don't like seeing Bretonnians because they just get hit and smashed. And normally what we can do with some other units is you start in short, right, go for ranks, and then spread out after. But if I do that with my Savages, I will lose my Chapel and I will lose my Frenzy. And then I don't really have much going forward if I go back into Horde formation after.
Yeah. That's usually the way I deal with Savages. Is there anything I can put in there that'll survive, the first 2 rounds of combat? Just survive.
Yeah.
And then, countercharge later. Yeah.
So, do you have any other questions you want to talk about for Brawlers? I can keep on goading you with jabbing questions to each other.
Knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Oh, so who's going to...
List is. So I would still guess that with that, my list would come in overall with winning more. I mean, you might win more games, but I think I'm going to get more points overall. But it's kind of tough to say, right? I go up against a couple of Purple Suns and I just fall off, or if I go up against lots of terrain where I can't use my things, right? It really just depends on that. So
yeah, I think your standard deviation is going to be much higher than mine. You're gonna have your game's gonna swing a lot more wildly.
The main thing is we have to beat those other YouTubers. If you're gonna stay the Godfather, good.
Like Monday.
I know that Chris and Nick won games Sunday night, but I wouldn't think they're leaving late after that. They must be leaving Monday. So
Sunday night. I mean, in theory, I don't mind, but usually I'm pretty spent.
Yeah.
After a full weekend.
We'll see how things go. That's why you have to play an easy army like mine. I'm tired pushing forward.
Just push it forward. Yeah. The thinking man's army.
Yeah. I had somebody actually trolling my channel when I put up that list. It's like, oh, what a tactic-heavy list you made there. Push, drink beer, push more.
I don't know if anybody saw the comment I left on Malorian's video, but we put the video of this is my list for Brawler Bash. It's so funny. He's trying to build it up. He's like, well, I've kept this secret, but I wanted a distinctive list for me, and I'm watching this going, bullshit. You're going to have 3 troll hordes and a horde of Savage Orcs, and 10 minutes later he finally gets around and he's like, this is what I've decided.
Yeah.
3 troll hordes and okay, yeah.
Surprise. The world knows me. Maybe one of the things that could be interesting to talk about is, for my River Troll horde, I can't take the full horde, with 3,000 points. I have to be 2 under. And that really bothers me, that it's not a full, perfect, symmetrical horde. Does that ever bother you when you have units? What size are your halberdiers? Do they either have to be 40 or 50, or doesn't really care if it's one off either way?
44.
Yeah?
Just an odd. I think it's 44.
But is it 44 because then it's perfect when the character goes in type thing?
No. I wanted it as big as possible, and I kept on stealing points for other stuff. By the way, why is that? Why could you not get more points, let's say, from your bunkers? Do you need those points in core?
Oh, I was completely maxed out. It wasn't even so much there. With 3,000 points, with each of those models being 45, that's the most I could have in my 25% rare.
Gotcha.
Not one unit. So Brawlers next year has to be 3,500, so I can go a little bit bigger.
Fantastic.
Or even bigger, so I can have another horde of stone trolls.
Yeah.
God.
So you're table edge to table edge, and nobody can get around you. They have to fly over the top.
Works for me.
Yeah.
Works for GW. Holy, we're selling a whole bunch of stone trolls. This is crazy.
So I don't understand, why didn't you bring your high elf? I think your high elf list would rock at this tournament. I think it's ideally suited for this kind of thing.
Well, I usually find that my high elves is usually, for those who don't know, it's all flying around circus. I got 2 phoenixes, 2 dragons, and a griffin. Usually does really well at winning, where I can kind of dance around, take out a few things, and then charge in to get the points. but it's usually the points to win and not the points to table. So I figured in a tournament like this, where I really need to go and wipe you out, that wouldn't be possible. Plus, that's my 25. To get to 3,000, I'd add another Phoenix. I'd change a Griffin to another Dragon, and I didn't want to buy 2 more monsters I'm just going to use for one tournament. So those two things together, it's like,
well, first off, you could borrow the models from someone.
Yeah.
I don't know. I haven't played it. I can't believe that, but I can't believe with your high mobility, you can gang up. You can charge 4 monsters into a unit. I don't care what unit that is. You're going to demolish them.
Well, one of the problems there is that one of the monsters is going to have my Archmage on it, and she doesn't want to always be on the front, so I usually have to kind of move things around so I can actually get to a flank or something, or at least one of the monsters. And then the same thing, the other one is a Dragon Mage, right? So I don't always want to lose it, especially because it's the Dragon Mage is the one holding the scroll. So if I lose that scroll early, I want to kind of play things out first. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Still, 3 Phoenixes in the front of what? Which else?
Yeah.
But even then, do you have flame templates on anything? I guess the Frost Phoenixes wouldn't, right?
No, they just kind of go over and burn things and stuff. Yeah. I have the breath weapons on the dragons, so they can go to the side of the unit.
Yeah, that would be Anyway, to me that seems like a real killer list. But
which is odd, because normally with my Orcs and Goblins, I'm just all up in the face aggressive, but when it comes to high elves, I gotta be careful. I gotta dance around. So
you gotta get the dresses dirty.
Oh yeah, no. So here's another question. We could talk about borrowing armies and stuff. How do you think you'd do if we just swapped armies and you went Troll and I went Empire?
I think I'd crush you.
I meant like in the tournament. Do you think you'd actually take the Malorian Troll list and just bring it to a tournament, or is it like, this isn't my style? You just couldn't, didn't want to play it.
Well, the thing that makes it not my style is there would be one or two. My dog is you're about to hear him. It's not my style because I know there would be 2 games that just I would show up and just take my points. I can't do anything against your list. You've got my counter. You're strong on death magic. That's it.
Yeah.
I just that's not me, man. I can't do it. I need a tool for every occasion.
Now to look at your list and be like, why aren't the demigriffs in a horde? This is ridiculous.
I heard recently one I want to say it was on the Heelanhammer show. They're interviewing an Empire player that's pretty successful, and he says that he no longer takes 2 units of demis. He takes 1 unit of 5 demis, and he says that's the sweet spot. That's what you want to do.
Because you're planning to lose one before combat?
You're gonna lose some, and there's enough killing power left that they just do their thing.
So why not 2 units of 5? That's just too much of a point investment, or always more.
Malorian war is not always better.
All the demi-crits.
Why not 50% of your army in demi-crits?
I would. That'd be the horde. Get him.
Yeah.
One day, I'll be an Empire player.
See, I think that's the weakness of my list. Is I think there's so many people that are prepared for 1-up armor saves that 2 units of demis and my unit of knights. They're all and if you have a counter to that, what do I hope you can't hear my dog. Shut up. Yeah. And even the steam tank, they all rely on armor saves. So if you have a counter to that, what do I have? Halberdiers? What the hell are they going to do? That's the weakness of my list.
Yeah, but then again, one of the biggest ones that might have had like that answer to armor pierce is the Wood Elves, and they're not here. If you would have come up against a unit that has a whole bunch of Way Watchers and the Way Stalkers and stuff, that could have actually been pretty scary. But I guess the same thing.
But I have more fire.
What's that?
I have more fire. They can shoot at me, but I can more fire at them.
Yeah.
It's not like they have the Banner of the World Dragon and the Wood Elf list. That'd be 9th edition.
Yeah.
You can take banners from any army book, whatever you want.
But yeah, so yeah, I don't know. You might face a lot of war machines, right? But then again, you probably don't see that at a turn like this because you can take a bunch of war machines, which are good at softening things up, but they're not good at tabling. And that's probably why you don't see the Chaos Dwarf gun line. is because they can smash you, but then they can't table you.
Right. Keep talking to the camera.
Hi, everyone.
I've got to deal with my dog.
Sure. So, now that it's just Malorian time, we can talk some real garbage. No. One of the things I'm looking forward to this brawler list is actually facing a lot of the other YouTubers. So I already got my game against OnceBitten. I'll be playing with Shimmergloom tomorrow as the doubles tournament. I'm sure some point during it I'm going to be able to play with Nick and then maybe Anthony and whoever else I can, right? Are you set up to be facing the other YouTubers so far?
No. I have a game against Jerry Parsley if he shows up tomorrow sober, which is very doubtful. And I have a game against a YouTube subscriber.
Okay, yeah. So one of the things that maybe more on my channel, people are joking about is that we should play a Triumph and Treachery game. So a good question with this is that if we were playing a Triumph and Treachery game between the YouTubers, who would you betray?
Anthony. Just because I know he would just be so vocal about it. He would be talking about it for the next month. Yeah. I'd screw Anthony. Have you played a game yet?
I still haven't had a chance. No, I've had this, and I've been looking at the rules. And
I played once.
Mm-hmm.
People say it's a beer and pretzels game. It's not a straight. Don't go into it wanting to win, wanting strategy. Just it's not built for that. What I found frustrating was that on any given turn, like you could only do anything bad to one person, right? So if you let's say you have enemies on your left and your right,
you pick one.
You can only pick one, and the way we set up our game, I was in the middle of two chaos players, and they both just turned towards me, and I'm like, well, freaking great. I mean, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
So it was very frustrating until I just flipped a switch and said, drink some more beer, eat some pretzels, and just laugh.
Just have fun, yeah. One of the things that I found a little bit odd too is that when you're doing the magic phase, it's the same thing, right? You pick who's going to be your main target, and they're the ones who do the dispel dice. And so if you're an army that does mainly buffs, well, then you just pick whoever's the worst spell defense because they don't really even care. A lot of times, oh, you're buffing yourself? Go ahead. Yeah. They don't even care.
Or you're buffing yourself against another player?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let that one
go. No, that's okay. Yeah, you can get Mind Rager against them.
Yeah, it doesn't really affect it much with your buffs.
Mm-hmm.
But like Direct Ammo, like Lord of Fire, I would never take a Triumph and Treachery game because you can only direct it at one player. Whereas if you're buffing, you can buff different combats if you needed to.
Yeah, if you would have done Laurel Life or something like that, or Beast or something.
Yeah.
Just beefing up your own guys.
Yeah.
Is it bad that we take such enjoyment from how angry Anthony gets?
Maybe.
Oh, we're being attacked by the cat.
Here's my cat. So
it's animal time here on Warhammer Hourly.
Here, come out of the camera and then get the hell away. There's OnceBitten's cat. All right. Yeah, so it is 12:30.
Oh, geez.
See, this is why I did so badly last year, is because Malorian we were up all night, every night last time. I'm too old for that.
I'm getting too old for that.
Yeah. So.
Thank you for watching Warhammer Weekly we were hourly and then we were daily and then we were weekly. No, we were daily then we're hourly. So thanks for watching both those programs.
Yeah, well, I mean, unless we get too tired of the game, so we probably will be doing this daily. No promises though, because if we get home at midnight, I'm not starting this at 12:30. So anyway, that's it for tonight. So Brawler Bash tomorrow's just I think Malorian and Shimmergloom are teaming up in the doubles tournament, and I'll be there just hanging out and playing friendly games, and then we have 5 games. Already. I'm tired of you thinking about this stuff.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow.